We'll start in the back right here with Whitney Harding, Channel 4.
Hey Ryan, kind of a special game in that Grambling State's an HBCU. How nice is it to bring in an HBCU to play in the shoe and for your guys to have that experience with those players?
Yeah, actually, Larry Johnson just spoke to the team and talked a little bit about, the history at Grambling. Spoke about Eddie Robinson and, talked about his experience of listening to Coach Robinson at a clinic. And after that, he realized he wanted to coach and the impact that he made on so many people, but also the game of football. And, he and I spoke before practice, and we thought it was good for our guys to understand that Coach Robinson and Grambling, are a big brick in, what is college football now. And the fact that there's, a lot of guys on our field that, certainly the game wouldn't be where it is right now without him and without Grambling. So I think it's important for our guys to know what's come before. We talk a lot about tradition at Ohio State, and Grambling has great tradition as well.
All right, we'll go right over here to Stefan.
Ryan, you were talking yesterday just about the things you wanted to see from the offense, explosiveness, things like that. How much of these next couple of weeks is about, trying to challenge Julian, put as much on his plate and see, what he can handle over the course of the next few weeks?
Well, you don't go from 0 to 60, overnight, but, we want to, build that up. And listen, we wanted to be explosive the first game. We didn't quite happen early. We found ourselves backed up, and, the game went in a different direction. But we're always looking to do that. So, we're going to continue to put things on his plate and push the envelope and go from there. So, I think we just had a really good day out here in practice. I'm excited to see how it goes Saturday.
Right next door, Dylan Davis. Oh, I'm sorry, Andy Anderson.
Yeah, right.
Arvell Reese, multitude of ways he was used on Saturday, different positions he was put in across the field. Just what impressed you about his performance?
His production in a big game in that spot. He started before, but not like a full-time starter, I guess is the best way to put it, where, our defensive staff, I think, was creative in what they did, but that's Arvell putting it on the field, and his versatility allows us to do different things with him. So great start for him, but he's a guy who practices that way. And I don't think anybody who saw him practice throughout the month of August was surprised with the production that he had. And we're going to continue to need him. He's going to be a big part of our defense this season.
Right over here to John Davis.
Ryan, the right guard situation during the game, it kind of seemed like it was a rotation first, and it kind of disappeared in the second half. So they're kind of playing more snaps there. Is that still something you're looking to do with the rotation there, or has Tigger solidified himself as your primary right guard there?
Well, what we wanted to do in the first game at a lot of positions was play guys who had experience, because it was a lot of guys who weren't experienced playing in the game. We wanted to limit the amount of first-time-ness, if that's a word. So what we want to do moving forward is figure out what's going to be best for our team. So we're going to play a bunch of different guys here over the next couple weeks, and then figure out kind of where we go going into the bye week. But it'll be an opportunity for a lot of guys to get reps and give us some more of an evaluation.
Go right in here in the front to Tim May.
Ryan, about 4 years ago, you started a quest to get the defense up to shape, so to speak, and some trying times in there and stuff. How proud are you of this moment? I know there's a long season to go, and y'all are coming off being the number one defense in the country just last year. But I'm proud of you to hear all this buzz around the country, maybe you're paying attention to it, about the defense at Ohio State now.
Well, it's kind of like you said. I mean, if you're not going to listen when it's negative, you can't listen when it's positive. And I think that's what we have to make sure we understand. This was one game, whether we won or lost. And I think I did mention that going into the last game. It's going to give us some feedback on where we are. I think the feedback, gives us a direction to move forward with. That being said, in order for us to go reach our goals and win a championship, we're going to have to play great defense. We know that. And every year you learn more and more as a coach. But it's a tribute to our coaches, it's a tribute to the players that they were able to, play like that in the first game after losing so many players last year. So it's just a start. We got a lot of work to do, but it's certainly, like I said before, good to work on these things after a win. There's a lot of confidence right now. I think guys are bouncing around pretty good. But we have to continue to look at the issues, address the issues, and get better. We are in an absolute race to get better, and we're going against the best teams in the country every day at practice. That's the way we look at it. And so, again, it's a great start, but we got a lot of work to do.
Ryan, I understand anything can happen on a Saturday. You asked about adding more to the plate of Julian.
Yep.
Where in the priority pecking order would be getting Lincoln work if you had your ideal setup on Saturday? What would that look like for him?
Yeah, it'd be great to get a lot of these guys reps. How it plays out, like you said, you don't know, but yeah, the more reps we can get for our guys, the more of an evaluation we can get in the stadium, live evaluations for these guys, and Lincoln would be one of them for sure. He just had a good day of practice again, coming off the field, so that was positive. So yeah, I mean, I think ideally we'd love to do that, but we'll take it one play at a time.
We've got time for two more. We'll go here to Bill Rabinowitz.
When Wilkes had Merrick in here last year, he was a bit of an unknown.
Yeah.
How important has he been? I know his forte in blocking. How valuable has he been in that role?
Very valuable, and now that he's healthy, it's great to have him there. He's a tough guy. He does a lot of dirty work, and he's somebody that has now played some, and so when you look at him, this is a guy that we're counting on, and you feel like you can count on. And there's a lot of dirty work to be done out there, and he can do it. But he's also really got better as a route runner and a pass catcher. So, I feel like that room has become more and more. That position's become more of a weapon, and that room's become deeper.
All right, and last question here to Doug Laveries.
Ryan, you got a million guys to try to get in the game. Just curiosity, Tavian is a true freshman. Just how does he continue to progress? And just this whole season, ideally,
Yes.
would you like to see a freshman third-string quarterback get some game action, or is that just not that big a player?
It's hard to. I guess that's hard to kind of talk about because you just got to get the first down, and you got to score touchdowns, and we're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and but yeah, ideally we'd love to get a lot of guys reps. Yes, because that's a real way to get feedback. It's a way to it's healthy for the team. So we'll look to do that. In some positions we'll rotate. At other positions we'll have to see how the game goes. But in an ideal world, we're trying to get as many of those guys, and he would be one of them.
How's he doing? Just like continuing as a young guy.
Good. He's been mostly getting scout team reps, but we do get some 3 work in there. And so we would try to get him in there as much as we can because, you're 2 snaps away from playing, which, sometimes is sobering. So we got to make sure that, he's continuing to develop, which I think he is, by the way. But, it'd be nice to get him some game reps.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.